I had a hypothesis that some seizures could potentially be psychosomatic responses to trauma. So I was hoping that a child's seizure might be the mechanism to see what a seizure without the effect of psychosomatic physical or sexual trauma was. And then the little boy in the video ran his hand down his sister and then touched his groin with both hands and smiled. So it was just a really strange pattern to see. There are also other strange patterns, micro-expressions that I don't want to share under the premise that I don't know if you'll see what I am saying. I don't know that the digital data will be the same. And without a polygraph, it's really hard for me to bring any information forward under the premise that it can make it look like you have a bias. So I really didn't expect to see anything inappropriate in the video of the family because of how young the little girl was. And then from the time that I saw it, it seemed important to flag. Again, if somebody saw something in a video that I was sharing that was in regards to someone that I cared about, I'd want to know if somebody had feedback. If you see something, you don't say something, are you responsible for that? Should you have the time to be able to have an opinion on everything that you see on the internet? These are all, phenomenal conversations that I think we should have at some point. The dialogue today is you will see the micro-expression, you will see the progression. The camera catches the progression of this little boy running his hand down his little sister and then curling his fingers in the palm of her hand before then smiling and touching his groin. And that's just a really unique pattern in progression. I would like to ask some polygraph questions of through a female NCO, through a female investigator. It should always be female investigators. I have no interest in this area other than to say that I truly believe without the shadow of a doubt that there are a lot of psychosomatic trauma characteristics that are not being flagged by the cameras. So seizures may be one of them, and there are a few seizures that really look like somebody may have abused you, and you may have responded, and your brain may have told your body what to do, and your body's catching up. It couldn't do what it did, so your body sent a message, kind of like a printer being sent a message from the computer, and then the printer plugs into the computer, and suddenly the printer is doing everything that it was supposed to do that you don't want it to do from a week ago, right? What's happening? It's printing. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make fun or light of this. It feels like there are people that should know this, and then I wondered if there were other things that were blatantly obvious. And then I wandered into some type of really fringe understanding of the edge of an idea that could potentially get me in some serious trouble for looking at things that I know other people have seen now that for whatever reason I just couldn't imagine. But now it seems like because it's so elementary, other people might overlook it because they'd imagine that the investigative agencies couldn't possibly overlook that. The investigative agencies being underfunded and underqualified, so they wouldn't want to present something that would look stupid to the medical community not protected by law enforcement adequately from the super wealthy people that might get upset and take their funding or target them, the lowest level with their guns or the highest level with their funds. So I think it's just like this niche area that doesn't have an ability to be dealt with under the premise that it's not being treated like a sickness, and we aren't building the tiny houses for children that are turning 18 that are falling out of their parents' household, and we're not building the boarding schools. So then I always end up at the solution because the solution is the only mechanism to even look at the idea of the problem. I don't know that this is true, but let's just say it was true. And let's say we had children that were having seizures and that had back braces and that had physical, musculoskeletal, structural problems that every time their dad looked at them going to physical therapy in their back brace or with their leg brace, they know that they did something in the process of hurting their child that undercut their child's ability to be safe and healthy, and that there might be hairline fractures that could be a problem for a child with paralysis down the road because the parent didn't come forward about what they did. We can give you coaching on how to abuse your kid without leaving the type of damage that will lead to paralysis, but you can't put pressure on the spine. Let's maybe teach a class, I guess, if we can't get them into a boarding school and separate them. Let's make sure we're not giving sleeping pills and opiates out. There has to be some response to this. You can't leave the child in a situation where they're still being abused and they're going to physical therapy and they're walking around school and they're body braced. Like, does this make it look like my dad did something to me in the night? And for every situation where that might be a circumstance.
Rapas.